reading for today is Galatians chapter 4, verses 4 through 6. When the fullness of the time was come, Elohim sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. And because you are sons, Elohim hath sent forth the Spirit of his Son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, Abba Yah.
I need you more than the ground I'm standing on. I need you more than the breath in my lungs. Your thoughts define me. Your spirit guides me. You are my reality. My reality. Abba, I belong to you. Abba, I belong to you.
Closer than the skin on my bones, you are closer than the song on my tongue. Your thoughts define me. Your spirit guides me. You are my reality. My reality. Oh, say Abba. I belong to you. Yeah, Abba. Yeah. I belong to you. Closer than the skin on my bones, closer than the song on my tongue. Your thoughts define me. Your spirit guides me. You are my reality. My reality. Oh, say Abba. I belong to you. Hey, Abba. Yeah. That's what I call you. That's what I call you. I call him Abba. I say, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Late in the midnight hour, Abba, my reality, my reality.
The oracles of the UCI, 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Lithonia, Georgia. Now, when we examine the roots of the true family of Israel, we find a pause in their redemption. Even though they were brought out of bondage, they were still not ready for freedom. The omnipotent and omnipresent Elohim of all the earth examines his people as they seek a reason to disobey him. Our ancestors used the pretense of their children's safety as the reason for their treason. Our Father then decrees a year for a day according to the time it took to conceive the unjust plot against his holiness. With his great power, he could have stopped them on day one, but if he did, would they have been ready to abide in his great land? We're going to begin today's sermon in Acts chapter 7, and we're going to start at verse 1. Today's sermon is entitled, The Foundation, the Blessing, and the Curse. The foundation, the blessing, and the curse. Oftentimes we hear people talking about Israel, and when people are trying to say that they are Israel. They brag about how many things that they have because they only want to deal with the positive things mentioned as far as the blessing. So people will even look out on the earth and say, oh my God, look at how much money these people have. They are blessed. These must be the chosen people. But what we don't deal with is that all of these things must go hand in hand. The blessing and the curse goes together. You cannot have one without dealing with the other. Acts chapter 7, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Then said the high priest, are these things so? And he said, men, brethren, and fathers, hearken. The oil of glory appeared unto our father Abraham, when he was in Mesopotamia, before he dwelt in Charan, and said unto him, get you out of your country and from your kindred, and come into the land which I shall show you. Then came he out of the land of the Chaldeans, and dwelt in Canaan. And from thence, when his father was dead, he removed him into this land wherein you now dwell.
Now, part of that, it's just going through, but it's letting you know, okay, when his father was dead, he went on this next part of the journey, meaning that Yahweh is watching and knows, okay, this is the best time to go forward. He didn't just figure out who this man was. He didn't just figure out that this is somebody I want to use. It also mattered what time it was in his life and where he was mentally. We like to believe that we're always at a certain place mentally. That's our own vanity. We're always, if you ask us, we ready. We ready for, if you ask us, you ready to hit the lottery? I'm ready to hit the lottery right now. Half us gonna be passed out somewhere. Half us gonna be on marriage number 8. The other one gonna be done lost 4 houses. Somebody done took up residence in front of the liquor store because they don't even want to go back home. All right. The other people at the marijuana dispensary, now they got money. They done got a prescription. You know what I'm saying? So they getting that medicinal. All right. They ain't going to Pookie no more. Pookie mad. All right. So you got all of these things. We swear we ready. Everybody does. But Yahweh sits back and examines. He knows when to go forward. It would have been the deepest problem in this man's life if Yahweh went forward while his father was still alive. Yahweh saved him from that trouble. There's some things that Yahweh has saved you from and you don't even know he saved you from it. You don't even know to thank him because you don't even know what he did. See, we got to fall to realize that he saved us from something. What about the things that he saved you from that you never failed? He don't get any appreciation for that. So he got to let you fall just to let you know, hey, I'm here. I see you. Go ahead.
Verse 5. And he gave him 9 inheritance in it. No, not so much as to set his foot on. Yet he promised that he would give it to him for a possession and to his seed after him, when as yet he had no child. And Elohim spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years. And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said Elohim. And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision over all the land of Egypt and Canaan.
You know, you have to ask yourself, he's going through these various aspects of the stages of the lives of Israel, the beginning of Israel. This is the foundation of how they got to be a nation. There are parts where he says, okay, and he was with them. You know, at the time that the brother is thrown in prison accused of raping a woman whom he did not touch, he's accused of raping a woman who actually attempted to rape him. Let's go ahead and let's keep this thing 1,000. All right. The woman who attempted to rape him has him thrown in jail. You know, at that point, you don't feel very blessed and protected, right? You don't feel very blessed when they're bringing you your food tray. Go ahead.
And great afflictions, and our fathers found no sustenance. But when Jacob heard that there was corn in Egypt, he sent out our fathers first. And at the second time, Joseph was made known to his brethren, and Joseph's kindred was made known unto Pharaoh. Then sent Joseph and called his father Jacob to him, and all his kindred threescore and 15 souls. So Jacob went down into Egypt and died, he and our fathers, and were carried over into Sychem, and laid in the sepulchre that Abraham bought for a sum of money of the sons of Emor, the father of Sychem. But when the time of the promise drew near, which Elohim had sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Egypt, till another king arose, which knew not Joseph. The same dealt subtly with our kindred, and evil entreated our fathers, so that they cast out their young children to the end they might not live. In which time Moshe was born, and was exceeding fair, and nourished up in his father's house 3 months. And when he was cast out, Pharaoh's daughter took him up, and nourished him for her own son. And Moshe was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and was mighty in words and in deeds.
Now, look at how Yahweh goes through systematically to decide how he's going to get this man ready for the ultimate job that he has for him. He's going to have him raised up in the house of the enemy. He's adopted by the enemy. This is the stuff that movies are made of. What do you think they get these movies where they go out and they take the little children, bring the little children in, raise the children as their own? Those are the children that kill their parents. Then take on the kid and raise the kid as theirs. But that kid now knows the ins and outs of that operation. They have their wisdom. They know their fighting skill. Do you understand how difficult it would have been to have a man with a plow and tell him, all right, now go up against Pharaoh. Man, go on head on. No. He understands some things about Pharaoh and his house that none of his people know. None of them know. They saw those things from afar. He saw it from inside. But this is kind of a cruel way to get you ready for a job, though. I mean, he had him adopted. You know, it's one thing to be adopted when, like, you don't know what your parents had. It's something altogether different to be adopted when you like, no, my mama right there. No, that my mama, that my daddy, that go my brother, that go my sister. They right there. They right there. And then to look at them starve while you have on the best gear. Now you might feel good to start out with, but eventually you're gonna start. Wait a minute. What? And it does get to him after a while. Why am I living so good? And they live horrible. Not just my brother and my sister, but all of my people. Go ahead.
You know, brother, when you look at it, you know, it says Joseph got up to the position where he was second in command next to Pharaoh. Mm-hmm. Right? And then it says one came along who knew not Joseph. But now you put Moshe right in the same spot. Because if he's the grandson, then he's right there next to Pharaoh again. Mm-hmm. So you replace Moshe, you replace Joseph by putting Moshe in that position.
Yahweh does the same thing. You got to think about what was their position. Savior. They were put in the position as saviors of their people. Saviors go through a little bit. Okay? And there's not an easy road for the saviors. Okay? They're going to suffer. Go ahead.
And when he was full 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel. And seeing one of them suffer wrong, he defended him and avenged him that was oppressed and smote the Egyptian. For he supposed his brethren would have understood how that Elohim by his hand would deliver them, but they understood not. And the next day he showed himself unto them as they strove, and would have set them at one again, saying, Sirs, your brethren, why do you wrong one to another? But he that did his neighbor wrong thrust him away, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge over us? Will you kill me as you did the Egyptian yesterday? Then fled Moshe at this saying, and was a stranger in the land of Midian, where he begat 2 sons.
All right, so now he has to separate him for this leg of the training. Go ahead.
And when 40 years were expired, there appeared to him in the wilderness of Mount Sinai an angel of the Adonai in a flame of fire in a bush. When Moshe saw it, he wondered at the sight, and as he drew near to behold it, the voice of the Adonai came on to him, saying, I am the El of your fathers, the El of Abraham, and the El of Esaac, and the El of Jacob. Then Moshe trembled, and durst not behold. Then said the Adonai to him, Put off your shoes from your feet, for the place where you standeth is holy ground. I have seen the affliction of my people which is in Egypt, and I have heard their groaning, and am come down to deliver them. And now come, I will send you into Egypt. This Moshe, whom they refused, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge? The same did Elohim send to be a ruler and a deliverer by the hand of the angel which appeared to him in the bush. He brought them out, after that he had showed wonders and signs in the land of Egypt, and in the Red Sea, and in the wilderness 40 years. This is that Moshe, which said unto the children of Israel, A prophet shall the Adonai your Elohim raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Him shall you hear. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in Mount Sinai, and with our fathers, who received the lively oracles to give unto us, to whom our fathers would not obey, but thrust them from them, and in their hearts turned back again into Egypt, saying unto Aaron, Make us gods to go before us. For as for this Moshe, which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we know not what is become of him. And they made a calf in those days, and offered sacrifice unto the idol, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Then Elohim turned, and gave them up to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets. O you house of Israel, have you offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness? Yea, you took up the tabernacle of Moloch, and the star of your god Remphan, figures you made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. Our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness, as he had appointed, speaking unto Moshe that he should make it according to the fashion that he had seen, which also our fathers that came after brought in with Yahshua into the possession of the Gentiles, whom Elohim drove out before the face of our fathers unto the days of Dawid, who found favor before Elohim and desired to find a tabernacle for the El of Jacob. But Shlomo built him a house, howbeit the Most High dwelt not in temples made with hands, as says the prophet. Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. What house will you build me, says the Adonai, or what is the place of my rest? Had not my hand made all these things? You stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, you do always resist the Holy Spirit, as your fathers did, so do you. Which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted?
Which? So this is one thing about dealing with Israel that you have to be ready for. Yahweh gives you this great job, and yes, it has all these great things. And get ready for the persecution. Because when you get ready to deal with your people, they're going to swing. Our first response is to swing. Our first response is to protect ourselves. We can say, you know what? Hey, brother, I seen you, coming down the street. You were coming pretty fast. Oh, nobody driving that fast. Then about 20 minutes later, you know what? I was probably driving a little fast. Automatically, that self-preservation kicks in. Self-preservation kicks in first. Then after that, okay, all right. Well, now that I think about it, I probably was. You try to do something to help us. Hey, man, you know what? This right here may go smoother. I know what I'm doing. All right. Then you look up. Now we got to back up and do a whole lot of things. That first moment, if you can work with that first moment, you're going to be all right. But it's that first moment of self-preservation when it kick in. This is the very thing that make people fight the person when they're drowning. That self-preservation is so strong, they'll pull their help down in the ground and kill their help. They'll try to climb a person in the water. Because, quite frankly, you're the only solid thing that's around. All the water is moving. You're the most solid object there. So it's going to grab you and pull you. It's not trying to kill you. Self-preservation just took over. If you can fight the initial moment of self-preservation, we might be able to be made better. So there might be sometimes somebody say something to you and it seems strange and you're ready to go off right that moment. Pause for a second. Let me examine that. Go ahead.
And they have slain them which show before of the coming of the just one, of whom you have been now the betrayers and murderers, who have received the law by the disposition of angels and have not kept it. When they heard these things, they were cut to the heart, and they gnashed on him with their teeth. But he, being full of the Holy Spirit, looked up steadfastly into heaven, and saw the glory of Elohim, and Yahshua standing on the right hand of Elohim, and said, Behold, I see the heavens open, and the Son of Man standing on the right hand of Elohim. Then they cried out with a loud voice, and stopped their ears, and ran upon him with one accord, and cast him out of the city, and stoned him. And the witnesses laid down their clothes at a young man's feet, whose name was Saul.
Now, you wonder why they had a problem with Saul. This is the kind of authority Saul had. These are the kind of things that Saul oversaw. This is a righteous man who gets killed here. So then you go forward to some other things that don't want nothing to do with him. But this is why sometimes you got to stay in your lane. Because you may be right, but you ain't right today. You right. No, Yahweh should not use this individual. This individual here murdered a saint. You right. But you ain't right today. You ain't right today. Because see, now when you decide that you're going to jump in this situation, guess what? Now you done jumped in the way of the Spirit. You think it's going to negotiate with you? I tell you what they tell you here. United States don't negotiate with terrorists. That angel not negotiating with you. Go ahead.
And they stoned Stephen, calling upon Elohim, and saying, Adonai Yahshua, receive my spirit. And he kneeled down and cried with a loud voice, Adonai, lay not this sin to their charge. And when he had said this, he fell asleep.
When he had said this, he fell asleep. Now, let's go to Acts 22. So, we can get a little bit more information about Saul himself. Know what he had done concerning this. Acts 22, and we're going to read verses 7 through 21.
And I fell onto the ground, and heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecute you me?
Now, he was persecuting the other people. Understand, Yahshua is not there in the flesh. He didn't walk with Yahshua in the flesh. Okay? So now you have where this spirit is saying unto him, why persecuting you? Why are you persecuting me? He's talking about his people. What does the word say? If you did it unto the least of these, you've done it unto me. Do we consider that if we persecute one another? Do we consider that we have done those things to Yahshua? Interesting. Go ahead.
And I answered, Who are you, Adonai? And he said unto me, I am Yahshua of Nazareth, whom you persecuted.
I am Yahshua whom you persecute. Why are you persecuting me? But I ain't did nothing to you. Go ahead.
And they that were with him saw indeed the light, and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to him. And I said, what will I do, Adam?
Now,
What shall I do,
listen, verse
Adonai?
9. And they that were with him saw indeed the light, and were afraid. Now, they were just afraid because they saw the light, but they heard not the voice of him that spake. You can be in the same place at the same time, but you ain't seeing what his servant's saying. See, you think you see. The only person who hearing is the person who he talking to. Now, you was there. You got all the information. You right. You ain't right today. They right there. Hold on, man. I see that. Man, it's a blinding light. But he keep acting like he talking to somebody. Who he talking to? Now, you know if you saw a blinding light come out of nowhere and somebody talking, oh, he talking to somebody. But whoever it was didn't want me involved in the conversation. Because if they did, I would have heard the voice too. Go ahead.
And I said, what shall I do, Adonai? And the Adonai said unto me, arise and go into Damascus, and there shall be told you of all things which you are appointed for you to do.
Showing him how he has to follow instructions. Because, you know, you ever listen to everybody else who says, you know, the Spirit told me, or God told me. You ever notice that God told them everything that they needed to do? God told me to go down the street, turn left. He told me to go and pick up the blue box. He said, look under the blue box. I said, why, God? God said, because I got something special for you. It is amazing how all this conversation happened, but now we're talking about the busiest worker in this book. Yahweh said, go to a place. You'll receive instruction. Yet Jimmy Crack Corn, who don't even know God's name, he was giving this whole 4-paragraph speech. He don't even know God's name, but he was giving a 4-paragraph speech on what to do. But the biggest worker of we talking about somebody so blessed that they cut pieces of his garment, and the garment healed people. And look at the level of his instruction. Go to what you name them. That's what he got. He got a glowing light. And his instruction, go to what you name. I mean, you done gave me the glowing light. I mean, you talking to me, can't nobody else hear it. This would be the perfect time for you to go ahead and tell me what you want me to do. This is that part. See? You have to learn that there are levels in this thing. Go ahead.
And when I could not see for the glory of that light, being led by the hand of them that were with me, I came into Damascus.
So the light was so bright to him that it blinded him. The light was bright, but it didn't blind them. But they couldn't hear. Okay. So he saw so much he got blinded, but was able to hear. They saw the bright light, but were not blinded, but also did not hear. Okay. Go ahead.
And one Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good report of all the Yehudim which dwelt there, came unto me, and stood, and said unto me, Brother Saul, receive your sight. And the same hour I looked up upon him. And he said, the El of our fathers has chosen you, that you should know his will, and see that just one, and should hear the voice of his mouth. For you shall be his witness unto all men of what you have seen and heard. And now why tarrieth you? Arise and be baptized, and wash away your sins, calling on the name of the Adonai. And it came to pass that when I was come again to Jerusalem, even while I prayed in the temple, I was in a trance, and saw him saying unto me, make haste, and get you quickly out of Jerusalem, for they will not receive your testimony concerning me. And I said, Adonai, they know that I imprisoned and beat in every synagogue them that believed on you.
See, he don't try to lessen what he has done. The first thing that we will do is normalize our actions. We will normalize it or make a reason why it was okay. He said, whoa. Adonai, they know that I imprison and beat in every synagogue them that believed on you. So he understands exactly now when he said, why persecuting you me? Oh, he knew exactly what that statement was about. I know, no. I did this. He ain't trying to act like,
Well, I wrestled with him a little bit. I had said some stuff. Sometimes I said stuff.
no. No, you was holding coats of murderers.
Did you kick him there? Kick him all the way in there. Kick him right there. Yeah, that's it.
No, he knows what he did. Go ahead.
And when the blood of your martyr Stephen was shed,
Uh-huh.
I also was standing by and consenting unto his death.
And when the blood, see, this is, first of all, where you see a different level of a servant. When he said, hold on. This is something he's saying to Yahshua. We won't even say this to a man, much less Yahshua. Now, Yahshua, hold on now. They know what I did. I did all these things. And look, and when that man was murdered, when he was stoned, I was the coat rack. I was holding the coat while the man was killed. Now imagine, there's a group of people who saw all this. They don't want nothing to do with Saul. So let's say now you gonna jump in there and you gonna deal with it. You right, but you ain't right today. You about to have yourself some problems. Because this is somebody, Yahweh said, no. I'm using this fella here. Because he finna work off every last bit of them things. He finna work. This work gonna be so ugly, I don't even want none of y'all to have this job. I like y'all too much. Because who got this job finna get beat down? You understand me? Who got this job finna get drugged? They gonna be running for their life constantly. They gonna get spit on. They gonna get slapped. I don't even want this job for y'all. I don't even want this job. Ain't none of y'all ready for this job right here. Now I gotta call me a special hellion for this job right here. Some of y'all was chosen because you're a special kind of hellion. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, he said, no, you have done special wrong. You have done specific wrong. Not some wrong. He said, oh, no, this is a special kind of hellion right here. He said, oh, no, this person here done been through hell. They went through hell and put the fire out. No. I want this one right here. This one. Because when I get ready to have me somebody to go through hell, the rest of them going to take off running. Not that hellion. Not that hell, you ain't gonna be, oh no, I know this place. I know this place. Yeah, what up, dog? I ain't seen you in a minute. Oh, he even know the hellions here. Right? No. Go ahead.
And kept the raiment of them that slew him. And he said unto me, depart, for I will send you far hence unto the Gentiles.
I got a special job for you, boy. Yeah. Don't worry about what they think about you. Don't worry about it. I got a special job for you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Bring your galoshes. You gonna need these. Because I'm telling you, it's deep. It's a lot of muck where you about to go. And none of them, they not qualified for this. They're not qualified for this job. This one is pretty deep. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7. See, this is one of those things when Yahshua said, I have a sheep that are not of this fold, sheep that you know not of. No. I got some jobs that need to be done, and you may not like the people I choose to do them. You may not like how I choose that you... Look, this job, I don't even want you to see this job. This one's going to be ugly. But he know what he doing. Because at least he give you a job. That job be too ugly for you. And you walk away from that job. Now your salvation is connected to that job. You took a job you wasn't prepared for. You might want to let that hellion do what he was called to do. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, and let's read verses 1 through 9.
A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. It is better to go into the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting.
Why? Because the heart can be changed in the house of mourning. The heart can be changed when you are in a point of suffering. Now it has been tilled. Now something can actually be planted in it. But when it thinks it's all right, that ground hard. You throw some seed on that hard ground, it just sit right there on top of the ground.
I ain't accepting no seed. I'm good.
But when it's been beat up a little bit, when it's been tilled, when it's been tore up, oh, that seed sinks down now. Now it's ready for planting. Go ahead.
You know, brother, we're looking at the physical house as a party scene. And that going from the house of mourning to the house of feasting can just be simply starting to put some type of substance in your body. Just because you don't want to deal with the mourning.
Oh, man. Some of those things is what caused, all those suicides, because they don't want to deal with the mourning. Sometimes it gets so strong that people seek for a way to get out. Go ahead.
For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better.
Right. So sometimes Yahweh is trying to get you to a level, but you too happy right now. He keeps trying to get you to accept something, but no. You at this point, you got too much pride to be able to accept the change that he's offering. So he got to tell that angel, hit him again. But Yahweh, we done hit him 3 times. I know. But that ground's still hard. Hit him again. Yahweh, we keep doing this, we gonna kill him. He'll be all right. Hit him again. I'm trying to plant something in that ground too hard. Hit him again. What they tell you when you're watching the beginning of a fight? You listen to the commentators, don't you? Say right now, he's not really trying to hurt him. He's softening him up. So what are you doing? He's finding his range. He's touching him. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, I felt that right there in the end of my knuckles. Yeah, he's just softening him up. He's not really trying to hurt him yet. And around about the end of that first round, he's like, all right, now he's feeling it. Now he's about to go in now. All right, come on, y'all. Now we got a fight on our hands. Come on. No. At the beginning, man, just softening him up. Soften him up. Only Mike Tyson tried to knock people out in the first round. Everybody else had better sense than that. Everybody else had better sense. Mike like, no, he's going down right now. I got to go somewhere. Nobody else did that. Everybody else like, all right, I'm gonna systematically, loosen him up. Next time I go to the side, he gonna lead ahead. But Mike like, hey, I got somewhere to be tonight. It's a party that's already going on, and I got to get there. Those were the most horrible fight parties ever. You went to the bathroom, the whole fight was over. You done bought chips and dips, you done bought drink. You went to the bathroom, the fight was over. Understand? Lucifer don't do one punch knockout either. He gonna soften you up. He gonna get a couple body blows, a couple jabs. He not just going for the 2-second knockout. No, He trying to make an example out of you. Go ahead.
The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also is vanity. Surely oppression makes a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit.
The patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. So there's some times that you have to sit back and watch and let something take place. Because you got to figure out what it is. Sometimes you think you know what you're looking at, but you don't know what you're looking at. You got to sit back. Okay, let me see this develop. Let me see what is it I am actually looking at. Go ahead.
Be not hasty in your spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools.
Right, and we have to be very, very careful right there in the heat of the moment, because a lot of things can take place that we wish we could take back. Now, it is written, be not hasty in your spirit to be angry. Moshe was born for a purpose, but he wasn't ready for that purpose when he was at the strongest time of his life. At 40 years old, Moshe's answer to saving his people was killing an Egyptian. He clearly was not ready for the job for the which he was called. Yahweh separated him, led him to a priest, caused him to marry the priest's daughter, and 40 years later, at the age of 80, he is ready and stands before Pharaoh. At 40, he was physically strong. At 80, he was mentally strong. Now, he was ready. Let's go to James chapter 1. So that's the last thing we want to hear. We done lost all our strength. And then Yahweh say, all right, now you ready. Wait a minute, I could have beat everybody a couple of years ago. I let me at him. Come on, Pharaoh. I beat the stew out of all of them. And now, yeah, you ain't ready. You ain't ready. Every year, you getting weaker and weaker. Yahweh, like, you getting close. Yahweh, but I was in my prime. Right, I know that. And your prime was going to get you killed. You're going to be primed for death. Keep learning. You're getting better. You're getting closer. By 80 years old, you don't want to be called for nothing. Hey, Yahweh show up. You 80 years old. All right, man. It's time. Time for what? Trying to do this great thing. I already got a great thing. You see that sofa and that TV back there? I'm about to watch the game in a minute. You want to watch? I did this. This is all the greatness I'm trying to do. You see this patio I got out here? Ain't it nice? Come on, sit down out here. I built this thing when I was in my prime. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to go talk to Pharaoh or Nico or any of those. I'm not trying to talk to any of them right now. I'm trying to coast. No. Now you're ready. See, when you're ready, you don't want to be ready. When you think you're ready, you ain't ready. That's why you have to be patient in spirit. Because you just think you're ready. As my elder used to say, just enough to get yourself killed. James chapter 1. And let's start that at verse 1.
Jacob, a servant of Elohim and of the Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations.
That's hard to do. It's hard to do. Because at that point, we're examining where we are and where we think we ought to be. Because we got that self-test mechanism. And we think we ought to be at a certain point. Go ahead.
Knowing this, that the trying of your faith works patience.
The trying of your faith works patience. I can tell you, patience was the last thing that I possessed coming in this word. The one thing you're going to learn being around Israel, you're going to learn some patience sooner or later. Go ahead.
But let patience have her perfect work,
that
you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Elohim, that gives to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, For he that wavers is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Adonai. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
And these are things that we do not see, that we are in a state of being double-minded. But that unstableness will follow us in various levels and various other areas in our lives and cause us some issues. Let's go to James chapter 5. James chapter 5, and we're going to read verses 1 through 8.
Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, cries. And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Adonai of Sabbath.
Now, behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. So you find a way to make sure that these people don't get paid. They work, but some kind of way you find them for the work. So you, one of these hammers got bent, so we're going to take that out of your pay. What? Right. It is a way to hold back the payment by fraud. Go ahead.
You have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. You have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. You have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Adonai.
Now understand, these are different individuals he's talking to between verse 6 and 7. You have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. You have held back the labor of them. You have done all of these things, and this is what helped you become rich. Verse 7, be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Adonai. He ain't talking to the same person he was talking to in verse 6. So then the brethren got to sit there and be patient while they being misused. Go ahead.
Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and has long patience for it, until he received the early and latter rain.
Right. So when you're dealing with planting, you understand that once you plant something, it ain't coming up tomorrow. You got to wait for that early rain for it to set in. The latter rain to then spurt that growth. You can't turn around and I planted it yesterday. I don't understand why I ain't got no fruit. You don't understand? You don't understand why you ain't got no fruit. You got to have some patience. Go ahead.
Be you also patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Adonai draws near.
All right. Be you also patient. Let's go to Acts chapter 1. Acts chapter 1. And we're going to start that at verse 6.
Acts chapter 1 and verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Adonai, will you at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
This is what they want. This is what they want. They want to be restored and redeemed right now. Cut this off. Just go ahead. All right, we see what we did wrong. Give us the kingdom back now. We sorry. We sorry. I swear we are. Keep reading.
And he said unto them, It is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father has put in his own power.
Right. This is this is one of the things that we have to remember, even as we go through all of these equations. We have these prophecies. We have equations on how to do the prophecy. He still keeps one variable that he doesn't give you. So you can spend all your time. You can get your history book. You can get your Bible. You can get your Texas Instrument calculator. And you work the equation. And he's going to keep back one variable. And without that one variable, you are not able to complete that equation. Because it's not for you to know the times and the season which he has reserved unto himself. So this keeps you from cheating. Because y'all know we're going to play into the day. That's our motto. Play into the day. What day? The day he comes. Go ahead.
But you shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth.
But you shall receive power after that. Go ahead.
And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, You men of Galilee, why stand you gazing up into heaven? This same Yahshua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as you have seen him go into heaven.
Now, that was told not for their sakes. That was told for our sakes. They ain't going to see that. They're not seeing that. So when he says, look, I'll be patient, establish your heart. You're going to go through this for a while. You got a little work that you have to do. See, sometimes Yahweh knows how to not overwhelm us. He said, okay, so Yahweh, what all we got to do? Just keep swinging that rock right there. I mean, that hammer at the rock. Just keep swinging. But Yahweh, what all we got to break down? Just keep swinging. Now, if he told you at the beginning of that job, all right, now, that right there is Stone Mountain. I need that to be a rock. What? Oh, we done fainted. We done fainted. We ain't swinging the hammer. We haven't done any of that. Because now we are overwhelmed because the job looks humongous. Ain't no way we can do this. This is what got us to not go in that land. Oh no, look at these people. Look at this land. Look at, we ain't gonna be able to do it. Sometimes when you look at the job and the entirety of the job, it looks too big. You got to shrink that job down. Don't worry about that big hill. Worry about this little corner right here. All right, now when you get that corner, now look at the other corner. Now when you get that corner, now look at the other corner. Stop looking at that hill. You ain't never going to start if you keep doing that. You have to cut that down. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2. See, the adversary wants us to get overwhelmed. He wants us to get to a point where we believe that it is so impossible. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. There's no way. That's what he wants. That's where he wants our mind to be. 1 Peter chapter 2, and let's start at verse 17.
Honor all men. Love the brotherhood. Fear Elohim. Honor the king. Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward. For this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience towards Elohim endure grief, suffering wrongfully. For what glory is it, if when you be buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently? But if, when you do well and suffer for it, you take it patiently, this is acceptable with Elohim.
Now see, now he just went on a whole nother level here. See, sometimes we really think we doing good. We really think we be on the high road.
Well, you know, I did accept it.
Well, you did it. The hell you mean you accepted it? You deserve a pat on the back for accepting something that you did? You don't get no pat on your back for that. And sometimes you'll be in the presence of something. And this is why you have to exercise some patience. Sometimes the things that you're looking at and you say, man, they really going through it. That trial is for you. You think that is their trial. That trial is yours. And Yahweh sit and he watch how we deal with things. And you're actually picking your own punishment, and we don't know it. Keep reading.
For even hereunto were you called, because the Messiah also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth, who, when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteously, who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sins, should live on to righteousness, by whose stripes you are healed. For you were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls.
All right, verse 20. For what glory is it if, when you be buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently? But if, when you do well and suffer for it, you take it patiently, this is acceptable with Elohim. When you look at what the children of Israel were doing when we decided to go against Yahweh, we said, what? Our kids are going to die out here. We didn't know we were picking our punishment. See, this is why he paused and he let you talk. All right. You know them kids that you told me you were protecting? All them going in and you're not. See, you pick your own whipping stick. You pick your own measuring stick, how he's going to measure you. See, you can tell the day the Elohim show up at your house. He gonna watch. Oh, I see there was a problem now. I saw you deal with that with love, with kindness, with patience. Then he come to his house and he watch how you deal. Wait a minute, what was the love, patience, and kindness that you showed at your house? My house not worthy of that? You had love, patience, and kindness in your house. Matter of fact, you had soft R&B music at your house. You played that heavy metal when you came to mine. Is my house not worthy of the soft music? I don't get no soft jazz. I don't get the candles. You had those candles at your house. Measuring stick. He's going to watch how you deal. You pick your own measuring stick. Nobody else picks your measuring stick. I don't pick your measuring stick, you do. I pick mine. See, the reason I labor because I know what I did when I was out there in the street. I picked my own measuring stick. I remember what I did. I remember how strongly I did it. So anytime I come with a less than acceptable effort, I already know what he think about me. I pick my own measuring stick. And sometimes you're watching something and you think you know what you're watching, but you don't know until the end. Right when we start getting together all of these things about getting a little house for Yahweh, one of my family members ended up in some turmoil. And they said, you know, we're going to need $7,000 for a lawyer. Now, I already got people that think I'm doing a scam because I had a building fund. Oh, hell, he done did that Christian stuff. He got a building fund. Yeah, but we actually got a building. You know, that I don't know what y'all thought. I don't know how that, but the whole time, I realized something. Later, that was my test. Now, it's them that had to go to court. It's them that had to go to do the thing. But I had just got money to build Yahweh's house. Now, the question is, you gonna go save yours with that money? Or you gonna go get his house? Right. Now pause for a second and ask yourself, what would you have done? Would you have saved your closer? Now, you still got to look at your woman. Is your woman looking at you? Hold on now, hold on. Don't before you answer yet. Wait, there's more. All right, before you answer. Now, you got to still go home every day and look at her. And she said, well, you got the money. You can go ahead and get Johnny Cochran them. I realized something. That was my test. Not the family members. So I guess you know what I chose. I don't think I had to tell you what I chose. But let me tell you how. Your Elohim take care of you. It was all said. Walked in the courtroom on my birthday. See a brother I recognized. The prosecutor is somebody we used to go to church with. That was already said from God. Didn't even walk up to the front. They came back with a piece of paper that said case dismissed. Now what if I'd have spent all that money? You see how he do you? See, if you're scared, he can't use them people. You gonna have a bunch of problems. If you're scared, he can't use them people. So the whole time I'm looking at, boy, this boy's trial. It wasn't that boy's trial. That was mine. I kept wondering why everything concerning this issue keep happening on my birthday. It was 3 birthdays straight. 3 birthdays straight. Okay, now it's clicking to some of y'all, right? Wait a minute. I was there one of them birthdays, and the police came, put your mama outside in the cold. I was there for that. I was there. Oh yeah. I kept wondering why this keep happening on my birthday. It was my trial. He just used somebody else to do it. See, I want to see what you're gonna do. See, there's a point where it says when you are stacking something away for Yahweh, make sure you don't touch it for any unclean use. Right. Sometimes you think you know what you're looking at. You need to sit down, keep your mouth closed, and your eyes open, and you might learn something. And it's deep when you learn something about yourself. Right. See, our problem is we too busy trying to learn something about somebody else. When are you going to sit down and learn something about you? Right.
Yeah, them. You see what they did?
Yeah. Right. Go ahead, brother.
That was it.
That was it?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Luke chapter 16. I wasn't even planning on getting up that early on my birthday. Luke chapter 16, let's start at verse 19.
There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died, and was buried. And when in the grave, he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus.
Now, this is where you have to really look at how we are as people. The one who had absolutely no mercy is now asking for mercy, and he wants to send the very individuals that he ignored. Send the beggar. No, you rich man. No. Send Lazarus. I seen somebody I recognize. Yeah, you mean somebody who you mistreated. Go ahead.
And send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that you, in your lifetime, received your good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and you are tormented.
You picking your own measuring stick. I don't know if you know it or not. Do whatever that is you're going to do. But do understand, you picking your own measuring stick, and you picking your own whipping stick. See, some of y'all don't understand that. See, when we was little, you had to go out and get your switch. You know, that was part of the punishment.
Go out there and get me a switch.
Now, if you come back with one too little, you got double whooping. Now, if you come back with one too big, you done punished yourself. So now, you out there in the bush negotiating. You know who about to get a whooping. Because while we all out playing, you just hear, I mean, they ball. Ain't nobody near them. They in the bushes. This ain't Moshe in the burning bush. This is a crying bush. What is going on in this bush? Oh, that's the little boy picking his whipping stick. It was a message in that. See, Yahweh having you do the same thing. You just don't know you're doing it. You don't know you picking your switch. So go ahead and do whatever that is you think you need to do. Do whatever that is. Just understand and don't be surprised. You are picking your switch. When it come back around, you're going to recognize, this the one I picked. Yes, it is. You picked that one. So as it goes across and touches you, remember that you picked it. What did Yahweh do? He watches David's situation. He watched how David did it. At any point, he could have stepped up and stopped David, saying, you know what? I need to stop this because I want you to retain your honor because you are a man whom I have chosen after my own heart. And if I don't stop you, I'm going to look stupid. Nope, that's not what he did. That is not what he did. He let him pick his switch. So you went unto a man's wife, huh? And you did this privately, huh? Okay. Well, let me tell you. He going to have 10 of yours. But it's not going to be in the dog. He picked his switch. And because you have done violently in a man's house, the sword will never leave yours. You will fight amongst your family forever. You picking your own switch. I didn't know Bit Mama was prophetic. I didn't know that. I didn't know Bit Mama was teaching me prophecy. I thought I learned prophecy when I started reading this book. Bit Mama was like, boy, let me learn you something. She ain't go past the 3rd grade, but she been teaching me prophecy. Look at here, look at here. All the time I was learning prophecy. I got to get 50 years old to find out I've been picking my switches all this damn time. Go ahead, brother.
And beside all this, between us and you, there's a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. Then he said, I pray you therefore, Father, that you would send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. Abraham says unto him, they have Moshe and the prophets. Let them hear them. And he said, no, Father Abraham, but if one went from them, if one went on to them from the dead,
now look,
repent.
we don't even have any compassion for the living, but we want somebody to come from the dead to show us and our family something. Let one come from the dead to show my family. Wait a minute. What was the compassion that you should have showed for somebody else's family? You didn't have none of that, but you want somebody to come from the dead to have compassion for yours? You picking your own switch. I can tell y'all, whatever. But you ain't gonna listen to me. You're gonna do what's comfortable to you, and you're gonna pick your switch. Just don't be surprised when it happens. Go ahead.
That was it, verse 30.
All right, let's go to Daniel chapter 9. Daniel chapter 9, and let's start at verse 1.
In the first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, of the seed of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. In the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the number of the years, whereof the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolations of Jerusalem. And I set my face unto the Adonai Elohim, to seek by prayer and supplications, with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto Yahweh my El.
And I prayed unto Yahweh my Elohim. Go ahead.
And made my confession.
Made my confession. Go ahead.
And said, O Adonai, the great and dreadful El, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments. We have sinned, and have committed lawlessness, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, even by departing from your precepts and from your judgments.
All right, verse 5. He said, we have sinned. All right, go ahead.
Neither have we hearkened unto your servants the prophets,
again. Go ahead.
which spake in your name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. O Adonai, righteousness belongs unto you, but unto us confusion of face.
Unto us, all of this is considering and has him included. Go ahead.
As at this day, to the men of Yehuda, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither you have driven them, because of their trespass that they have trespassed against you. O Adonai, to us belongs confusion of face.
Us, another term that includes him. Number 4, go ahead.
To our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers.
Wait a minute. Our kings, our princes, our fathers. Go ahead.
Because we have sinned against you.
We have sinned against you. Number 5, keep going.
To the Adonai our Elohim belongs mercies and forgivenesses, though we have rebelled against him.
Now we're at number 6. We, go ahead.
Neither have we obeyed the voice
Number 7.
of the Adonai our Elohim, to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants the prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed your law.
When he says all, he's part of that. Go ahead and throw number 8 in now. Go ahead.
Even by departing, that they might not obey your voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
Now, even as part of the punishment, he's a part of that. Go ahead and throw us in now. That's number 9. Keep going.
And the oath that is written in the law of Moshe, the servant of Elohim, because we have sinned against him.
Go ahead and throw that in now. Now we're at number 10. You do understand when it talks about perfect men, Daniel is one of them. But we up to 10 in the we and me and us. He didn't separate himself from any of that. But he ain't done none of that. But we at number 10 of him taking accountability for something that his people have done. We at 10. Keep reading.
And he has confirmed his words which he spake against us.
Us. We at 11. Go ahead.
And against our judges that judged us. By bringing upon us a great evil.
Oh, man, I'm running out of fingers. Go ahead.
For under the whole heaven has not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem. As it is written in the law of Moshe, all this evil has come upon us.
Hey, man, somebody got to help me keep this count. Go ahead.
Yet made we not our prayer before
Our
Yahweh,
prayer. Here we go again. Go ahead.
our Elohim, that we might turn from our lawlessness.
Turn from our lawlessness. Add another one to it. Go ahead.
And understand your truth. Therefore has Yahweh watched upon the evil and brought it upon us.
Who? Okay. Keep going.
For Yahweh, our Elohim, is righteous in all his works which he does, for we obeyed not his voice.
Add another one.
And now, our Adonai, our Elohim, that has brought your people forth out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand, and has gotten you renown, as at this day we have sinned.
Add another one.
We have done wickedly.
Add another one.
O Adonai,
See, what we do is separate ourselves from all wrong. But one of the very few brothers who have been all right is taking on all wrong. We're making excuses for why this was done, why that was done. He's taking on accountability for stuff he didn't do. Go ahead.
O Adonai, according to all your righteousness, I beseech you, let your anger and your fury be turned away from your city Jerusalem, your holy mountain, because for our sins
Add another one.
and for the lawlessness of our fathers, Jerusalem and your
Put
people.
my daddy in it. Put my daddy in it. Let me get another one. Put my our fathers. Put my daddy in it. Go ahead.
Jerusalem and your people are becoming a reproach to all that are about us.
Uh-huh.
Now therefore, O our Elohim, hear the prayer of your servant and his supplications, and cause your face to shine upon your sanctuary that is desolate, for the Adonai's sake.
Now, hear the prayer of your servant. Now, if the servant's prayer come across like he's holier than thou, if the servant's prayer come across like, I'm praying for them. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I mean, me and you, we straight, y'all be doing stuff, I did, you know what I'm saying? But, for them, you know how they is, Yahweh. Is your prayer now abomination? Because you ain't even came at him, right? I thought y'all was a nation. Oh, so you telling me you paid your debt, but you live with them, but they ain't paid theirs. But then you ain't paid yours either. Don't y'all live together? What?
O my Elohim, incline your ear and hear. Open your eyes and behold our desolations and the city which is called by your name. For we do not present our supplications before you for our righteousness, but for your great mercies. O Adonai, hear. O Adonai, forgive. O Adonai, hearken and do. Defer not for your own sake. O my Elohim, for your city and your people are called by your name.
All right. All of this. All right. He has come across, he has accepted accountability for the sins of the nation. Now go ahead.
And while I was speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my supplication before Yahweh my Elohim for the holy mountain of Mael, yea, whilst I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation. And he informed me and talked with me and said, O Daniel, I'm now come forth to give you skill and understanding. At the beginning of your supplications, the commandment came forth.
Stop. Okay, at the beginning of your prayer. All right, then we got to back up now in the beginning of this prayer here. Okay, so we're going to back up in the beginning. Verse 3, I set my face unto the Adonai Elohim to seek by prayer and supplications with fasting, sackcloth, and ashes. So, before he started to pray, he had already taken care of the preliminaries. And then I prayed unto Yahweh my Elohim, verse 4, and made confession. Now I counted a whole lot of us and we and our. But Yahweh knew who he was dealing with. From the minute he said, I'm making my confession. Hey man, go down there and take care of that. So the pause you get ain't the pause that he got. No. From the minute you start praying, I was already, decree came forth. It's a good thing you said all those other things. But he already knew you when you start talking. Verse 5. Verse 4, he says the prayer, and I prayed unto Yahweh my Elohim, made confession and said, O Adonai, great and dreadful Elohim. Now, this is just an introduction. Keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him and to them that keep his commandments. That's the introduction. Very first word of his prayer after the introduction. We. Not they. Not them. We. So from the beginning, as soon as he says we, down and take care of their business. Interesting. See, maybe our prayers starting off wrong. Because understand, the rest of that what wasn't even what caused him to move. He said, as soon as your prayer started, the decree came forth. So the biggest word in this prayer is we. Interesting. Go ahead.
And I am come to show you, for you are greatly beloved. Therefore understand the matter and consider the vision. 70 weeks are determined upon your people and upon your holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for lawlessness and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy.
All right. 70 weeks. That is 70 weeks of years, or 490 years, which reckon from the 7th year of Artaxerxes, coinciding with the 4,256 year of the Julian period. We know that a week is 7 days. The big question is, why did he use the numerals of 70 and 7 as it pertains to our punishment? Let's go to Leviticus chapter 26. You pick your own switch. Leviticus 26, and we're going to read verses 14 through 18.
Verse 14. But if you will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if you shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that you will not do all my commandments, but that you break my covenant, I also will do this unto you. I'll even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ague, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and you shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and you shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and you shall flee when none pursues you. And if you will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I'll punish you 7 times more for your sins.
So then as we look at our equation, we see where we get our 7 from. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 8. See, understand, Israel was given some things. He said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Israel then stood before Yahweh and said, all that you have said we will do. All right. You agreed to that. Leviticus 8, and we're going to start at verse 6.
And Moshe brought Aaron and his sons and washed them with water. And he put upon him the coat and girded him with the girdle and clothed him with the robe and put the ephod upon him. And he girded him with the curious girdle of the ephod and bound it onto him therewith. And he put the breastplate upon him. Also he put the breastplate. Also he put in the breastplate the Urim and the Thummim. And he put the mitre upon his head. Also upon the mitre, even upon his forehead, did he put the golden plate, the holy crown, as Yahweh commanded Moshe. And Moshe took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and all that was therein and sanctified them.
All right, so the punishment was times 7. Now we're dealing with anointing. Go ahead.
And he sprinkled thereof upon the altar 7 times and anointed the altar and all his vessels, both the laver and his foot, to sanctify them. And he poured of the anointing oil upon Aaron's head and anointed him to sanctify him. And Moshe brought Aaron's sons and put coats upon them and girded them with the girdles and put bonnets upon them.
He put bonnets upon their heads. Go ahead.
As Yahweh commanded Moshe.
So then as we look at the setup of punishment, you have the times 7. When you deal with the things of righteousness and sanctifying, you still have that times 7. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 10. Deuteronomy chapter 10, and we're going to read verses 15 through 22.
Only Yahweh had a delight in your fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked.
So he's already dealing with something on a spiritual level. He's not dealing with natural circumcision. He said, circumcise the foreskin of your heart. That means there's some things that we got to go through inside. There are some things that we have to battle out here. Our problem is we keep trying to take the battle outward, not understanding that the biggest battle is in here. The biggest battle is fighting this man in here. And he know all your weaknesses. He know what you like. So then he started trying to trick you. We just gonna go down there for a second. We ain't gonna stay. I got you. All right, now you ain't gonna let me fall, is it? No, I ain't gonna let you fall. Be sitting there pointing at you. I got you again. Right. The biggest fight is in here. Go ahead.
For Yahweh your Elohim is El of gods and Adonai of lords, a great El, a mighty and a terrible, which regards not persons nor takes reward. He does execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loves the stranger, in giving him food and raiment. Love you therefore the stranger, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt.
And you wonder why we operate like this to this day. Anybody can come and move in our neighborhood. As long as they don't start no mess, we don't mess with those people. Go ahead.
You shall fear Yahweh your Elohim. Him shall you serve, and to him shall you cleave and swear by his name. He is your praise, and he is your El, that has done for you these great and terrible things which your eyes have seen. Your fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons, and now Yahweh your El has made you as the stars of heaven for multitude.
All right, what's 70?
70.
70. Score is 20. 3 score is 60. Add 10, you got 70. 3 score and 10 is 70. So now, when we get ready to get our punishment, now wait a minute. First thing he blessed and sanctified was the Sabbath day. That's 7. Your nation was built from 70. Guess what you just set yourself up for? Right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 15. See, if we did a little bit of this beforehand, because, you know, we did it when we was in the street. We was at a party. The curfew was midnight. But the party jumping. I mean, the party jumping. I mean, it's jumping. I mean, it's jumping. And now you like, I'm going to get a whooping. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to figure out, should I get a 12:30 whooping? Or a 4:15 whooping? You know what I'm saying? I mean, so you in the middle of the party and people like, what you doing? I'm negotiating. Trying to figure out exactly how bad, because I'm not going to make curfew as it stands right now. All right? If I leave now, I still get a whooping. All right? I'm trying to negotiate, will I live? I'm going through this equation at this point, you know, because I know I'm going to get it. But we go through and we consider, because we have an equation. All right, I know what, let me see what mama got going on right now. Well, let's see what daddy got going on right now. Okay, is it a good time for me to pop up at 4:15? It's just a good, now you got to consider, all right, what have my parents been going through at this point. Is this a good time to break curfew? All right, well, we got some equations here. So when we decide to do some things, consider what Daddy gonna use to deal with us. All right? Exodus 15, and let's read verses 22 through 27.
So Moshe brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water.
All right, so we know that three, the sanctification is given in threes. We understand that. Go ahead.
And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore, the name of it was called Marah.
So they've gone all this time without water, get to water, and the water bitter. Oh, they are hot. Go ahead.
And the people murmured against Moshe, saying, What shall we drink? And he cried unto Yahweh, and Yahweh showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them.
Now, what if he doesn't go unto Yahweh? Yahweh knows what's happening the whole time. He doesn't rush right out and go and give them, let me give my people water, for they are thirsty. Yahweh said they are thirsty. Don't show them where the water at. I was saying, this is cruel. No. I'm trying to bring you up on another level. Go ahead.
And said, If you will diligently hearken to the voice of Yahweh your El, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I'll put none of these diseases upon you, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am Yahweh that heals you. And they came to Elam, where were 12 wells of water,
12 tribes,
and 70 palm trees.
70 trees. He said, look, if you can get out of your flesh, I got everything you need. It's 12 wells of water, 70 palm tree. It's a tree that represents each one of the founding people of your nation. While you crying, I'm telling you, I got you. But do you believe that he got you? Let's go to Numbers chapter 11. See, when you know a certain amount of things about the foundation, other things begin to jump in place. Numbers 11, and I want you to read verses 16 and 17.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and officers over them, and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with you. And I'll come down and talk with you there, and I'll take of the spirit which is upon you, and I'll put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, that you bear it not yourself alone.
So then our whole governing court, our Sanhedrin, if you will, our governing court has been set according to the foundation of our nation. When you deal with this book that they call the Septuagint, it's the 70, you have this same foundation. Where does it come from? The foundation of the nation. So when you start getting that 70 times 7, understand what he's doing. It is important that we understand that, because, you know, this is that point where you start to negotiate. All right, do I want to do this? Because there's a possibility he may give me some multiplication on this. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32. Go ahead and start it at verse 1.
Give ear, O you heavens, and I'll speak, And hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Because I will publish the name of Yahweh, ascribe you greatness unto our El. He is the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment. A El of truth and without lawlessness, just and right is he. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. Do you thus requite Yahweh, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he your father that has brought you? Has he not made you and established you? Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask your father, and he will show you. Your elders, and they will tell you. When the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Pause. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. He had already had you in mind before you was even conceived as a nation. He had already spied out a place. No. I mean, look, y'all can stay there and take care of the land, but I got that land for somebody. So I got some people who represent me, and they're going to be in this spot that I've chosen for myself. And what he say? As you grow, I'm going to take other people's land and give it to you. Why you think other people who have studied our book, they want to be us more than anything else? They want to use that to go off and conquer lands. And we gave them the perfect opportunity to do it by being disobedient. And then as Yahweh punished us, they say, hey, the land is ours for the taking. They said, we got squatters' rights. They abandoned it. So it's ours. Go ahead.
For Yahweh's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land and in the waste, howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirs up her nest, flutters over her young, spreads abroad her wings, takes them, beareth them on her wings. So Yahweh alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he might eat the increase of the fields, and he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, butter of kine and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs, and rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of wheat. And you did drink pure blood of the grape. But Jerusalem waxed fat.
Yeshurun.
But Yeshurun, waxed fat and wicked.
And kicked.
Verse 15, but Yeshurun waxed fat and kicked. You are waxing fat. You are grown thick. You are covered with fatness. Then he forsook Elohim, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation.
Right. There's a point that we get so high that we become at a point where we just can't be dealt with. We remember Yahweh when we are little in things that we possess. Then we get to a certain point and we've forgotten Yahweh. We've forgotten the lively oracles. We've forgotten the commandments. We've forgotten all these things. This is why it is written, don't give me so little that I steal, but don't give me so much that I forget about you. It is up to us to find that balance. And there's a balance that we always are going to have to find. Even though the book says, okay, do not, if you spare the rod, you spoil your child. But at the same time, that don't mean you beat them to death. Or beat her to death. I can count the number of times on one hand I done whooped all the last 4 of my kids together. Now that first one, that's different. But see, in his defense, he was a different kid because I was a different dad. My kids now, I didn't have to whoop them kids. Once they knew I was disappointed, it hurt them. They was hurt and just knowing that I was disappointed. I ain't had to whoop them. That first one I hit him, he bounced back. Then I fuss at them, they distraught. When you have the heart of a servant, your desire is to please. You want to please your Elohim, you want to do those things. So I didn't have to do that. So don't take the spoil the rod part so far that you're using the rod when you ain't have to. All you had to do was talk to him. That's all you had to do. The rod is for those who you can't talk to. You keep talking and they keep doing. Then, hey, all right, let me go and get this rod. Let me go on out there and pick your switch. Now, go on and be the crying bush. Go out there. It's time for you to understand what the crying bush is all about. Go out there and pick it. But if that's not that kind of kid, you don't have to do that. Then you have to wonder what kind of damage you are then doing then. Go ahead.
They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to Elohim, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat you, you art unmindful, and have forgotten Elohim that formed you. And when Yahweh saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters.
The provoking of his sons and his daughters. So there are some things that you can do to provoke his sons and his daughters, and he's going to hold you accountable. Go ahead.
And he said, I'll hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not El. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I'll move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I'll provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
Ain't it so? Ain't it so? We have been moved to jealousy with a foolish people who don't even claim any of the things of this book. They keep giving us the most horrible thing that have happened to them. You can't find it nowhere in this book, but say that they are the people of the book. How can you be the people of the book if the most horrible thing that happened to you ain't in the book? And anytime you try to say anything against them, they then call you anti-you. You know how deep that is? I tell my kids, y'all didn't clean up this room. Daddy, you so anti-sock. What? Y'all need to straighten up in here. You need to stop being anti-Semitic. You better stop it. What? How you gonna tell me I'm anti-me? Because I'm telling you what you did wrong. I'm gonna move you to jealousy with the foolish people. Go ahead.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah,
Let's hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Psalms chapter 90. Psalms chapter 90, and we're going to start that at verse 1.
Adonai, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, you are Elohim. You turned man to destruction, and saith, Return, you children of men. For 1,000 years in your sight are but as yesterday, when it is past, and as a watch in the night.
And understand, in the beginning, before man creates all his wicked inventions, man has the power to live this one day. We're talking about people living 980 years. But what happened is man becomes so sinful, the longer a man lives, the more sins he commits. We don't see that cutting down the time of life is Yahweh's mercy. And we like, no, we want to live such and such. Right. And that payment that you got to make keep going up. Go ahead.
You carried them away as with a flood. They are as a sleep. In the morning, they are like grass which grows up. In the morning, it flourishes and grows up. In the evening, it is cut down and withers. For we are consumed by your anger, and by your wrath are we troubled. You have set our lawlessness before you. Our secret sins are in the light of your countenance. For all our days are passed away in your wrath. We spend our years as a tale that is told. The days of our years are 80 years and 10.
I'm sorry, how long?
70.
You know, after 70, that's what I always say, you're living on faith. So the years of the life of the people is set at 70. Why? I'm sorry, how many was you that started your nation?
70.
Okay. And we did this stuff. So what do the nations do? They make sure you start working real early. And they say, all right, we're going to set, retirement. We're going to keep moving it back. They say, we're going to move it to 65. I mean, it looked like they auctioning 55, 65, 75, 85, So we done paid all into a system. The system is set for us to pay in it our whole life and never live long enough to get retirement or Social Security, but you have put in the bulk of the money to take care of all the other individuals. Quite a plan the devil has. Quite a plan the devil has. Go ahead.
When you look at this, my brother, says the days of our years are 80. And if you read this, we'll say, oh, this is everybody. No, that's not everybody. That's why they push the retirement, because they done looked at when we die.
Exactly. They end up looking at those numbers, the average time, and it's normally us, average time of a black male. They'll let our women get a few years of Social Security. It's us. Because you have to understand, in their eyes, we were made to be slaves, and that's all that we're supposed to be. You ever wonder why they'll look at a grown man and call him a boy? But then take a boy and put him in jail and treat him like a man? This nation is built of hypocrisy. So you're going to call a 40-year-old, 50-year-old man a boy. Then take a 14-year-old and sentence him like an adult. You don't know the difference between a boy and a man. Go ahead.
The days of our years are 80 years and 10. And if by reason of strength they be 80 years, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away.
So then when we consider that, even the times of our years is based on the forming of our nation. So then, as we do certain things, as we put in certain labor, understand how our Elohim does. He give you back on the back end. So wait a minute. We might be able to increase this number then if we understand the equation. Because Elohim is going to reimburse what he did to Job. He turned around and paid him all the way back. All the stuff that he lost, he gave it back. Well, then wait a minute. Now I'm dealing with this equation. Then wait a minute. I can add some things on top of that at the back end. Hezekiah prayed and his life was extended. Okay. You got to have the labor to go along though with what you ask. You can't just turn around. You know what, Yahweh, I need 15 more years of my life. All right, well, let me look at what you did. Did you way down here? Oh no, y'all come get him. That's all that we're gonna do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.